Sie hören Sport und Musik.
Das Spiel ist aus! Deutschland ist Weltmeister!
Mario Götze! Mario Götze!
Tonight, whether you call it football, or soccer, a German American and a German in America dare to call it Fußball. German football from an American point of view. Let's add some buns to that hamburger and join them for the Schnitzel Boys Deutschland Hour.
Dun, 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 dun. Hello. I think I got that right.
Perfect sound. Perfect sound in the intro. After weeks of trying, very good. Very good. Well done.
Seba S. Right, thank you very much. Seba S. Right in the chat. Seba S. Let us know if our sound sounds loud and clear. You're a sound guy. Let's go Mainz beat FC Bayern München. I believe the Bundesliga is becoming more competitive than the Premier League.
Sebas is having a great day.
We're starting with hot fire from Seba S in the chat. More competitive than the Premier League. You vamped for a bit, Bjorn. I realized I didn't give me the right ambiance. I like to give myself a little ambiance. For those of you listening on the pod, we do have a visual element to this podcast.
Oh yeah, I guess we're still red, huh?
Well, it's Christmas. You know what's I'm going to change up for Christmas because you're right. This is not the. How about this? How about that? Is that? I need to be green. Why is the green not showing?
Green. That's very Christmassy.
Yeah, but it's really weird green, right? It's not.
I like it.
What about green? Green. The color of aliens.
The color of aliens. Well, is Santa an alien?
He could be. I played Santa Claus at a party last night.
I would imagine that you could get hired for that kind of thing.
I'm a Santa Claus reenactor. I've done it several times. I did it at a low-key Hollywood party last night. I'm not going to name drop, but there were some low-key celebrities there. And
some low-key celebrities.
Yeah, low-key. Not movies, although they are in movies. They are in Marvel movies, but who isn't in a Marvel movie at this point? But pretty much someone asked, who's Greek? At the party because a bunch of Greeks were there, and I raised my hand. You know why, Bjorn?
Because there's 6 degrees from every single human on the planet.
Not me, Stefan Schnitzel, but me, Santa Claus, raised my hand because Santa Claus is based on an old Greek saint, Saint Nicholas.
Oh yeah,
he was a Greek saint who lived forever, and so technically Santa Claus is Greek, I think. There's also rumors. Here's a rumor, Bjorn, that has been proven to be false, but it's not entirely false. It's not entirely false.
Okay.
But
rumors about Santa, or
rumors about Santa Claus. It's a Christmas episode.
Okay.
We have to decide whether we're going to do one next week. I don't know if we are. We might. This might be our Christmas year-end blowout episode.
We don't know. Yeah, this could be it.
We might have a little hiatus coming up because for me, I just work and stuff, and then before you know, it's like boom, Christmas is tomorrow. I'm like, what? Like I know it's coming up. I know it's in December, but time moves really fast for me, and I don't really prepare as well as I should in life. Just stuff comes to me fast. So there's a good chance that next week it's like games are done, Christmas is here. It's like, well, I guess there's no pod, you know. So I'm just preparing myself for that.
Okay, very good.
But anywho, who do you think influenced the modern image of Santa Claus? Now, Santa Claus is an old trickster, but like designing what he looks like with the rosy cheeks and the red, the red velvety, the red clothy outfits and the white hair and the big sack and all, like the red and white, like the Santa Claus is a modern image. Where do you think
since we're talking about German stuff on this show, it is in Germany. There's no Santa Claus. We have Saint Nick.
Oh yeah,
there is not. We have Saint Nicolaus, which is December 6th. That's its own thing.
Right, it's not Nicholas.
And that's really that's based on this saint that you mentioned, and it's not really. It doesn't go with this with that same aesthetic as Santa Claus.
Mhm.
And then when I was a kid, it was das Christkindchen was bringing the gifts.
Who is he, an assistant, or who is that?
Das Christkindchen? No, it's little baby Jesus.
Ah, that makes more sense because it is.
It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't
None of
really
it makes
make.
sense. None of it makes sense. Yeah.
Doesn't really make more sense.
Jesus was
because-
born in February or whatever. Late
Well,
February.
right. Well, there's that whole thing. But like, but no, it was das Christkindchen that was bringing the gifts, which I don't remember ever.
Was he a
believing.
baby? So like, a baby is on two legs crawling through. There's no chimneys in
And
Germany.
bringing
either, right?
the logistics of this were never explained. I don't ever remember believing this at all. I was just always pretty obvious. I was my parents,
Even when you were a kid.
even when I was a kid.
Now, when when my mom was a kid, she was afraid of Santa Claus.
Oh,
Because or whoever was Saint Nicholas. Because
it was
Saint Nicholas
it was stern,
well,
naughty
he
or
was a
nice.
disciplinarian. He was a disciplinarian. And when in my mom's day, my grandparents took her to Saint Nicholas to tell him all the stuff she did wrong this year, so she could so Saint Nicholas could spank her.
Oh
And
boy.
And that's what visiting Santa Claus was in her youth.
Whew, yeah, no, there was no such thing in my.
They got rid of that by your day. But in Germany,
no,
for Saint Nicholas talk,
I went through more trouble with my kids. I took like blurry pictures of Santa. Like my daughter, especially, she believed in Santa Claus for quite some time.
Good.
And I made more of an effort. But in Germany, it's different. Santa Claus. But you were saying, what is it based on? I don't know the answer. Where does it come from? Tim Allen? It's based on the Tim Allen movie.
That came later. No, that was later. This is early 1900s. Early 1900s. Now, there's a rumor.
That was a joke. I do realize that.
Well, you're not too far off.
Tim Allen.
No, just the image of Santa Claus was developed by the Coca-Cola Corporation.
Really?
Yeah, red and white. I mean, the polar bears.
This is from a Coke commercial?
No, the rumor was they built the image of Santa Claus 100 years ago in their early ad campaigns. They were the ones who made him red and white and gave him the white beard because it looked like a Coke can. And it's a big part of their image. Every Christmas, you got the polar bears, you got the penguin, you got Santa.
For sure.
Yeah. However,
they sort of looked like AI before AI.
Right. However, that's been disproven. There are images of a modern-looking Santa Claus from before the Coca-Cola's initial ad campaign. So there's a good chance they got it from that. But the reason I say it's partly true is because I guarantee you the popularity of the Coca-Cola adverts and stuff like that spread it far and wide. So in a small way, you have Coca-Cola to thank for the modern image of Santa Claus. But yeah, growing up, I had Saint Nicholas talk, and after we put our shoes outside of our doors.
Yeah, exactly.
The next morning, you get presents.
Right.
That's not an American thing.
But this happened December 6th.
Right.
Yeah.
And then was that one of the advents or something? No, because then also there's four
advents. The 4 advents are the 4 Sundays before Christmas.
4 Sundays. Yeah, we had to get together and do storytelling and stuff like that.
And there's you have an Adventskranz, like an Advent wreath, basically, with 4 candles, and another one, different one every Sunday. First you light 1, then 2, then 3, then 4.
Seba is just spamming our chat. Are you not interested in this German Christmas talk, Seba is? Here's one for you, Bjorn. I learned this relatively recently. In Germany, the Zweiten Weihnachtstag, right?
Yeah. Boxing Day in England.
And in Canada, too, I think it's Boxing Day. But so I believe the thing is on the 25th, you hang out with your nuclear family. That's your brothers, sisters, and parents. And then the 26th, you're supposed to go with your extended family. Isn't that sort of the point of that?
Yeah. I mean, for us, it was Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve is... Christmas Eve was the gift, the present time. It was right, like and then Christmas Day, Erster Weihnachtstag was with one set of family, and then the second was with a different set of family sometimes. Or if eventually that just kind of petered out. The second, you're just kind of off.
What if you have a lot of wives' marriages? You must have 4 or 5 different Christmas days. They're like 26 is the other family, 27th was my third family.
Yeah, but nobody, no one has the no one has the energy for that.
Yeah, no, I do it on the night of the 24th. We've always done that. Do you do that on the night of 24th with your kids, or do you do it American style?
No, we now do it American style. Yeah, Christmas Day morning.
My niece and nephew got night of the 24th with us, in the morning of the 25th with their other grandparents, and then they had like a private session with their parents. I mean, they were just covered in presents every year. It's pretty crazy.
It's pretty crazy. But Sebas wants to talk Bundesliga. Let's go. I can answer one question. How the heck is Elversberg top of the second Bundesliga? Because everybody gets a turn this year in the second Bundesliga. Elves, what?
The reason they're top of the second Bundesliga is because this time of year elves thrive.
Oh, elves,
right?
and
elves time of year.
Elversberg. No, but because everything is so close in the second Bundesliga this year, everybody gets a turn. Elversberg now is in first. Köln. Strubers Köln is second.
Baldy McBaldy.
How did this happen? Paderborn had a lead a couple weeks ago. They had a little bit of cushion. Now they're in third. Düsseldorf, Hannover, Kaiserslautern. Everybody dropped. People dropped points. Kaiserslautern, promotion candidate, lost 5-1 to Darmstadt. What is happening? The true Super League is Bundesliga 2.
How did my HSV do? How did they do?
Your HSV got a tie in Ulm and is down to 8th place, but still only 3 points behind and still second best goal differential. So if they win next time, maybe next week it's their turn to be in first. It's possible. It could happen.
Seb, but now you're asking about Christmas in Germany. We just changed the subject. Fine. We said
it's Christmas Eve. Yeah.
25th. Now, you want a little history? Is back in the day. The 25th is a pagan celebration. But back in the day, the Pope, whose largest sort of minority group was the pagans, you had the pagans and the Christians. He thought to keep it simple, he just merged it all together and kept everything on the 25th, which is why Christmas is on the 25th. More logistically, because I think about this a lot, is that especially in Europe, this time of year is the longest and coldest days, the most depressing time of year. Therefore, in all religions, not just Christianity, most of their major holidays happen around this time of year because it's a great way to find a way to hang out indoors and cheer and be good. Because if that didn't happen, people would be way too depressed. So there's no holidays during the summertime because everyone's in a good mood over the summertime. All the holidays are in the wintertime from Christmas to Easter because those are the most difficult sort of days with snow and the short days. And, so they found ways to make it fun. So there you go. That's the holidays, ladies and gentlemen. The Bundesliga 2 is a bunch of people stumbling down the steps. And whoever lands on their feet at the end of the year gets a promotion. So, will it be Köln? Will it be HSV? Will it be Ulm? Will it be Elversberg? Will it be Darmstadt? Who knows?
I don't think
it won't be Schalke.
Shouldn't put any money on who's going to get promoted from the Bundesliga 2. It's very, very tight.
It won't be Schalke.
It will not. I mean, are they? They're not out of it. Everybody gets a turn.
Well.
No, Schalke doesn't get a turn. Schalke's not going to get a turn.
Will it be Miro Klose's Nürnberg? Perhaps they're also kind of on the bottom of that list, I think. But
only 2 points ahead now of Schalke, so not looking good. They got beaten by Strubers Köln, and so they are currently a ways behind. They're very closer to Schalke. If you're closer to Schalke than to the third place, then it's not looking good for you.
No.
If Nuremberg has a chance, then Schalke has a chance because they're only 2 points behind.
True.
Anyway.
But I prepared myself for this week, and I gave myself a list of talking points and storylines. Seb, you said the talk of the town was Elversberg. I disagree. I think there's a few talks of the town. You just asked, was Bayern München in trouble for losing top of the table? Yeah, I think that as far as results go, the big story was your Mainz beating Bayern München over the weekend in Mainz, I believe, and it was 2-1.
2-1.
2-1. Mainz
Correct.
got the 3 points, and Bayern München dropped some points. They're not so flawless as they've been. But this isn't really about Bayern München. This is more about the other boys, your Bayer Leverkusens, your Eintracht Frankfurt.
Bayer Leverkusen all of a
Dortmund.
sudden back in second.
Very quietly.
Very
Bayer
quiet.
Leverkusen is gaining all their, because not only that, they're also crushing in Europe too. So Bayer Leverkusen is very quietly gaining momentum again to finish the rest of this season pretty strong. So is the Harry Kane curse real? Is Bayern München in threat of losing any title this year again?
Whew.
We'll see. I mean, I'm not holding my breath. I still think they're still firm favorites for the Bundesliga if they keep it going. I haven't seen too many cracks in their facade. You know, they did lose a few games in a row, but they picked back up again. They beat PSG, and they beat they got back a little bit of a winning streak again. But yeah, losing to Mainz is no good. But as far as stuff that happened this weekend, I mean, I don't know. Bjorn, what do you think? Do you think Bayern München had trouble losing the top of the table?
Well, I mean, it's definitely a little bit dicey, right? They're not looking so. They have some work to do in the Champions League. I mean, they still have a 4-point lead here. So, and there's one game left, so they're definitely going to go into the winter break with in first place. And I mean, it's like every year, right? Who is going to be the contender? We thought Frankfurt are looking a little young lately. They lost to Leipzig, and I watched that game, and I was like, this Frankfurt team, they have a lot of talent, but they're not super hard-boiled. So I don't know that they can compete for a whole year. I don't know. Leipzig are looking good. I mean, Dortmund's really dropped. Dortmund is in 8th now. They've fallen way behind. So Stuttgart is not the same. So it's unclear if Leverkusen can get their consistency back. Then I think we're in for a little bit of a battle.
The other part of that equation is Bayern München have a goalkeeper problem too. I think that is sort of a big wrench, throwing a wrench in their gears. With young Daniel Peretz has to take over from an injured Manuel Neuer, who does have a broken rib, I believe, right? Isn't that his injury?
Yeah, that's going to take a while.
It's going to take a little while. Manuel Neuer, late in his career, he's had quite a few setbacks. There's rumors he just signed a new contract through to 2026 at Bayern München. I assumed he'd be retiring this year. I didn't know he'd still go, but
he's going to go to 50.
Maybe. I mean, Casey Keller played till he was 43 or whatever. It happens, but the goalkeepers in the 40s usually on the bench. I think. What was the great Italian goalkeeper who played for PSG and played for Juventus for a million years? His name is escaping me. Like Italy's number one goalkeeper. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, Buffon, Gianluca
Buffon. Gigi Buffon played till he was 41, 42. So it happens, but they're definitely not as sharp. And Bayern München have to make a decision.
Skinny, very, very good, very, very handsome man.
Oh, yeah. Very attractive man. But Bayern München are going to have to... Manuel Neuer was kind of becoming a liability for them a little bit. I mean, he's done some blunders, got some injuries.
I mean, that's a
little
bit of a little harsh, I would say.
Well,
he's got more clean sheets than any other goalie in the league. Now you can say that's because he's on the best team, but I mean, he's been good. He's had some blunders. He got that red card, but I mean, that was the first one of his career. I don't know.
Right. But he's unavailable now.
Most teams would still like to have him. But yeah, Harry Kane is out and Neuer is out. Both the top end and the back end.
Right. Their two probably highest paid players are both
gone.
Are
currently not around. Yeah. So then now there's got to be some managing going on from Vincent Kompany.
So with the Bayern München sort of sits on there, the two Harry Kane and Manuel Neuer out for a while, that leaves some doubt. And with Bayer Leverkusen picking up steam, 4 points behind, maybe you're right. Maybe a couple weeks into the new year, Bayer Leverkusen do regain that top spot. It'll be interesting to see. Bayer Leverkusen had a great game in Europe over the weekend. Last week. I think as far as the other teams go, Eintracht Frankfurt being young, RB Leipzig have made a very clear choice. I think RB Leipzig and Stuttgart have both made a choice, if I didn't know any better. Stuttgart made the choice to focus on Europe over Germany, I believe. And RB Leipzig has made the choice to focus on Germany over Europe. So much so that in 6 games in the UEFA Champions League, RB Leipzig has 0 points.
0 points.
In 6. 0 points out of 6 games in the UEFA Champions League. That is a notoriously poor performance, wouldn't you say?
Do you think that's by design?
Well, am I giving them too much credit? I mean, I wonder, philosophically, I wonder if that's even a thing in football. If you're allowed to be like, this is what we choose on.
I mean, you play to win the game, right? I don't know.
Maybe I'm giving them both too much credit, both these teams, that they've made this conscious decision. But the results have shown that RB Leipzig are having a ridiculously poor season in Europe. I mean, they've 6 games, 6
They're out. I mean, they're out. It's not even they're eliminated.
They're the only German team eliminated.
Totally eliminated.
Stuttgart still, they're only 2 points out. There's 2 games left. Stuttgart do have a shot.
1 point out.
Or 1 point out. Stuttgart still have a shout to get in there.
Yeah, they had they had a big win. I mean, they needed a big win at home against Young Boys Bern, who are in last place, who are worse than Leipzig in that they have 0 points, and they also have a -19 goal differential in 6 games. That's pretty bad.
Well, that's the choice. Hold on, Bjorn, but that's the choice they made at Young Boys Bird.
They're focusing on the Swiss league.
They said we need to focus on the Swiss league. At the end, by Christmas time, we should have a -19 goal differential and 0 points. And everyone in the locker room was like, "Jawohl, let's do this. We can do this, boys.
This is what we want. This is just what we have. We have the world just how we." I mean, they are currently in 9th place in the Swiss league, so I shudder to think what would be happening if they were not focused on that.
David Wagner used to be their coach. He's not their coach anymore, right? Wasn't he their coach up until recently?
I don't know. Is that true? He's not right now, is he? Joel Magnin. Joel, I don't know who this person is, but he's the coach of Young Boys Bern. And he's doing a lot of losing.
Well,
in the Swiss Super League.
Yeah, David Wagner was the Young Boys coach 2 seasons ago. And then he was the Norwich City coach, of course. Yeah, well, it's interesting to see that. So RB Leipzig, 4th place in the Bundesliga. I have a few topics here. I wonder what to go to next. I want to talk about. I've got 1, 2, 3 things I want to talk about, and I do believe the most interesting topic is what happened with your club this weekend.
The weird Bochum game. Yeah.
Watch football. We've watched football most of our lives, right? We watch a lot of games. How many soccer games do you think you've seen from beginning to end in your life? If you had to guess.
How many?
Yeah, if you had
How many? Like on TV or in person or both?
In your whole life, from beginning to end, TV and combined.
I don't know. Probably not 1,000. Probably hundreds.
You think under 1,000? This is one of those questions they ask
I
you.
Would say if let's say, definitely.
Bjorn, you're interviewing for a job as a market analyst for a big FIDI corp, and then they sit you down and they just give you a critical thinking challenge question. Quick, how many soccer games have you seen in your life? And you have to.
Yeah, I would say a 3-digit amount. I would say, it's probably. It's probably 40 a year, maybe 40 to 50 a year over the course of maybe more.
Let's say over 40,
might
30
get
years.
1,000. I mean, there were some years where I really didn't.
Right, me too.
So maybe around 1,000. Let's just call it 1,000. I mean, also in my whole childhood, there was not a lot of watching a whole game live. There was a lot of highlights.
Yeah.
The only games that I saw in my youth from beginning to end were national team games. Those were the only games that were on TV beginning to end. So, yeah, I think it's under 1,000.
You had to wait. You had to wait for them to invent the TV first.
Oh, that's right. We were getting the results via smoke signals. I had to sit on the roof. I had to sit on the roof of my house and until the neighbor in the next village over would fire up his chimney, and 2 puffs meant we won, and 3 puffs meant we lost.
It's that scene in Lord of the Rings when they do the fire signal, when it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
tell the Rohan riders we'll join them, and then it's just one fire signal from mountain to mountain. There's a game in Bern in Switzerland, and like, tell them we've won, and then throughout Germany, it's just like, da, 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 just lighting puff smokes everywhere.
That's right.
Well, anyway, I bring that up. I probably 1,000. Let's say 1,000. Let's say between you and me, 2,000 games. How about that? In 2,000 games,
never seen anything like this.
yeah. How many times have we seen something like this would happen at the end of the
I did not.
Bochum Union Berlin game?
I did not. I mean, even just a field player going into goal is a very rare occurrence.
Right.
That doesn't happen all that often. I've seen that a couple times.
Right.
I think I can remember. It is memorable. I can remember 3 times where I watched a whole game where that happened. So out of 1,000. So that's already pretty rare. But then
that was a long smoke signal that one time. Remember?
I don't know. Yeah. The guy went nuts. Yeah, he went. I had to get the smoke signal dictionary out of the library to even understand what he was saying. There were some signals that I didn't recognize. So anyway, should we tell the whole story?
So the quick rundown is, I realize our names are backwards.
It's
the quick
what?
rundown. Our names are backwards. Sorry. The quick rundown.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Is that, well, there's multiple elements. There's a player and a goal, but that was almost a small part of it. The big part of it was a fan affected the game, right? How often we see that? That's also pretty rare.
Well, that happened. That happened in Bochum, ironically, last season, right, or the season before.
Where
somebody got hit with something, and that also there was some. We were already losing that game, so it didn't really matter.
Oh, so this is karma at play. This is
perhaps some. I don't know. So yeah, we had there was a 1-1 draw, and then goalie Dreves was ready to get a kickoff, and he got hit in the head by a lighter. One of those big BIC, right? Is that the
big?
Well, no. I think it was the normal size. It wasn't the tiny one. I think it was the normal one. The one that our defender held up looked like it was normal size. Right. Now this is the first question that we need to discuss. If somebody launches one of those from the stands and it hits you in the head, how much does that hurt?
Well, okay. He was definitely exaggerating, right? Can we agree on that?
I don't know. I'm wondering. I mean, I thought so. Initially, I definitely was like,
it grazed his forehead, right?
It bounced,
grazed the top of his forehead.
No, it was more of the side, right? It like sort of bounced off the side of his head. I think.
And then he held his
thing and fell over. It came from behind him. It hit him in the side of his head and then bounced off.
There was a delayed response, right? There was a delayed response. He took him a second. He's like, "Can I win the game if I fake an injury?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then he puts down.
No, I don't. That's yeah. Is that what happened? Well, obviously, your impression is that he went down and
a little easy. However, I don't judge that. I would have done the same thing. I think it's the principle of the matter that matters. Because
it's unclear. It's unclear what exactly happened. I mean, everybody fully committed to this injury. If it was like he wobbled off the field, he couldn't continue, he didn't come out of. They took him to the hospital. It was a whole thing. They went all the way with this. At the same time, Sportdirektor Kensig also said that it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter how hurt the guy is.
Right.
He said it was wrong.
Right.
To accuse him of faking it or whatever. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant if you're fainting, if you're conscious or not conscious, doesn't matter. You can't be throwing stuff at somebody's head.
I agree with that. Like I said, I think the principle is key here.
Right.
Was he a little bit of a martyr for the principle? Perhaps.
I mean, that certainly seemed to be the impression of the Berlin supporters who thought, or anything, even. Well, I'm a neutral. Yeah. I mean, I was wondering about this. It's like, I mean, a concussion definitely seems like a stretch.
Right.
I don't think you can get a concussion from a cigarette lighter, even if it's launched. I guess if
it's dropped from the Empire State Building, then
thrown,
sure. But like,
but that was not the case.
Right.
That was not the case. Nobody. He was not. We were not
No.
playing in the shadow of the Empire State Building. I mean, if he launches it and it's in the air for a while,
10
it probably
meters,
hurts
right?
more.
10 meters, maybe 20. What are we talking? What are we thinking here?
It's got to be more than that. I mean, I guess
from,
I don't
from
know.
the crowd from
we don't
behind.
know.
So.
We don't know exactly. Yeah, let's call it 20. But if it's sort of a straight shot, yeah.
Here's another part of that, though. We should have brought a physicist on today. Like, what if it's coming from behind your head, but it hits the front of your head? How?
No, it didn't hit. It's the side. I think it was the side. I think it came from behind and it bounced off like the side of his head. And it's also, it's scary. I mean, if you give him the benefit of the doubt, very scary. You're not expecting it. It hits you in the head.
Could have been a throwing star. You never know. You know, I mean, what are they allowed to bring in the stadium?
Throwing like the ninja. Well, then he would be dead immediately.
That's what I'm saying. I thought you said that's what we're giving him the benefit of the doubt of.
Then he had like it just being a little scary and disorienting. But yeah, I mean, it seemed it definitely.
By the way,
what's that?
A moment of passion. Who throws away a lighter? It was definitely a moment of passion. He's like, "Oh, what do I have? My lighter." I mean, of all things to throw, a lighter is so random. Usually you throw a cup or like a bottle cap or something, you know, but a lighter.
This is just it's just what people have in their pockets. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think they said they found the person who did it,
right.
And so they're not coming to any games again.
I had a spy in the stadium.
Oh,
what
happened?
I know people. I sent this to you.
Oh, that's right. You said you did have somebody there. Yeah.
A distant relative of mine is a season ticket holder and a huge Union Berlin fan, and he was there for the whole thing. And he said they found the guy and they banned him from the stadium because which is appropriate. I mean, who the hell? I haven't been to 1,000 games. I've been to a handful. I've been to a decent amount. Never, ever, and I've been drunk. Never, ever thought to myself, "Oh, I'm gonna throw things at these players, or I'm gonna run on the field, or I'm gonna push one." I've never, ever wanted to affect the game ever. I've always been like, I'm here to watch. I'm here to watch them do the game. There's this weird thing. I've noticed since COVID, it's gotten worse. Where people love to affect the game.
I have things to say every once in a while. I mean,
yeah, but it's verbal. Have you ever thrown anything at anyone?
No, never thrown anything.
Right.
Never will throw anything. No, that's no good. I mean, people do throw that. This happens in MLS. You see
corner kicks. Yeah, and stuff like
you see people throwing cups. That's a. The lighter thing definitely is a little, is a little more dicey, but yeah, I don't think it would cause real damage. I think it would hurt. You might have a little bump in the head. He could have gone on. I'm gonna say.
In the past, when we have seen this, it happens a lot, like in South America, the Copa America. We see this stuff before.
We have seen people get hit by lighters.
They complain a bit and they move on. They're just anyway back to playing. He decided not to move on
because he was
decided to say
he was
this is bad.
We have 2 points. We're 14 games in. We have 2 points. This is as close we're going to come to getting 3. We may get awarded 3 points out of this, and this is we have to go for it.
Well, this
leads I support it also. I support this also.
Well, this leads to the second part of that equation. And it seems like you're giving the goalkeeper a decent amount of mathematical credit here. But like the second part of the equation, what I'm saying is with the thought process you just said, like, do you feel this was fully calculated by the goalkeeper to get the forfeited 3-point response right away? Do you think that's what the whole point was right away? He's like, oh, this is an opportunity. I'm going to take it. Instead of playing the next 5 minutes to get a winning goal, I'm going to win this game on technicality. Let's go. Do you think
no. We were men down.
Right.
So
I'm saying, so we did not think that.
We're not going to win this game. I don't think. I mean, I think at this point, honestly, there was a video from somewhere, some like Man United youth game or something where a player got a ball thrown at him unexpectedly from a ball boy, and he got hit in the chest or whatever. He wasn't looking, and his first reaction is he starts to go down, and then he realizes, oh, it's just the ball boy threw it at me. I'm not gonna. So then he kind of, it's funny because you see it's clearly his, like, he gets hit by the ball and immediately his thought is like, oh, I gotta go down and feign injury. And then he's like, oh no, the ball kid just threw it. Oh, game goes on. So I think I'm bringing this up to say, I think this is just now deeply ingrained into the professional player's mindset that if you are playing for time, if you are like any kind of opportunity you're going to take, you're going to just go down like a ton of bricks. And some people are better at it than others. Maxime Chanot famously excelled at this when he was playing for New York City FC. He had like a cramp in every game where we had a lead, to protect. He reliably would get a very serious cramp.
The dark arts.
Would have to be stretched out. This is just something people do, and I think Dreves is. I don't think he recalled the competition rules of the Bundesliga in his brain. No, I think he was like, I feel something, I'm going down, and then we're going to sort it out later.
And this leads the next wrinkle. The reason this was a little specifically unique is because at this point in the game, Bochum were a man down.
They didn't have any subs.
They had no subs left. So if the goalkeeper had to commit to his injury and be removed from the game, he couldn't be replaced by the bench goalkeeper.
Right, because we were out of subs.
So if the injury got him off the field, he would have to be replaced
by the other goalkeeper. Yeah. So that's what made this that's what made this a dicey situation.
And which leads to the next question. Is that fair? Because Hoffmann put the goalkeeper jersey on and he played the goalkeeper's goal, and there was still 5 minutes left in the game. They would have been 2 men down at that point.
Exactly.
With a non-goalkeeper in the goalie, all to no fault of their own because it was affected by a fan.
Right.
The game didn't make this happen. The fan made it happen. That right there makes this a kind of a unique situation.
Well, and that's why it was decided, I guess, and this took a long time too.
It did. Now, Bjorn, my question for you: how do you think the ref handled this? Would you give him an A+ to an F? What grade score would you give the referee for what he? I would have to have been behind the scenes to really judge it. I think not great. Well, it's difficult. I think I would give him the benefit of the doubt in that this is a dicey situation because the stakes are high and the outcomes are so, because scenario. Yeah, I mean, this is what gave me pause in terms of listen, I give full props to the Bochum teams and officials and coaching staff. I think they played this the best way possible. I think if there is what's that? I think they got the most. I think they went sort of a little bit high risk, but they got the most out of it by fully committing to the bin. Right.
That's what
they left the field first.
Commitment first. Well, this is actually in question because there was video where the ref kind of waved them.
No, the ref told him to leave the field. That's true.
Right.
However, Bochum left right away and Union Berlin did not.
They left right away. Because there's also, there is also a world which I think is probably what I would have done as probably not as committed a person. I would have been like, oh, we don't have any subs. If I was Dreves, I would have been like, oh, we don't have any subs. Well, all right, well, I'll finish the game then.
Right.
In that case, I can pull this out. I'll go back in and I'll finish the game. But that is not what happened. It was fully like, nope, can't go, concussion, got to go to the hospital, not ready to go, woozy. And at that point, the referee is really in a tight spot because does he send them out? Does he send? He doesn't. He can't give another sub because that's obviously not.
Unless it's a concussion protocol, right? I
The
believe there's
rules
an extra
don't.
concussion.
I don't think that's the case, and I think it's the case in the MLS. I don't think that's the case in the Bundesliga as of right now.
Oh, okay,
I think
they didn't bring it up on the broadcast, so.
I think maybe that's worth thinking about as a rule. Like if your player gets fouled by a blighter thrown from the fence, you get an extra sub. I don't know, something like that, which should probably be considered. But since that's not in the cards, then it's like, do you make them go play 2 men down with Philipp Hoffmann in goal and basically guarantee they're going to lose this game, or are you gonna call it? But that also seems weird. It's not like there was really any reason to call it.
Every scenario was unfair, right?
It was bad. Yeah. So the referee did not have didn't have a lot of good options. So I think ultimately what happened was the fair thing. So
we're skipping ahead a bit. So the scenarios are: should we let Bochum play 2 men down with 5 minutes left, like you said, guaranteeing almost a loss
with Philipp Hoffmann in goal,
and Philipp Hoffmann, or B, call it now, like get rid of the 5-minute stoppage time, just end the game right then and there because it was around the 90th minute. But then that's unfair because Bochum had 5 minutes to get a goal, and you're taking that opportunity away from them.
So that's also, but I think that's also. I don't think he has that opportunity. I don't think he can, because it wasn't 90 minutes even. It was like 89.
That wasn't even on for either.
I don't think you can stop.
Right, and what they ended up deciding, and then so the other decision he could have made is match abandoned at 89th minute.
Right,
match abandoned. That would have been like probably the more official choice that he could have made.
But I think I don't think that was really, like, you abandon the match because you have weather or people. If everybody starts throwing lighters, then it's like, all right, we gotta. But there was no real danger of this happening again to anyone.
So what they did was they came off the field, did nothing for 20 minutes, and then they made a gentleman's agreement to go back on the field and play kick around for 5 minutes and let the clock run out to 5 more minutes, so we can officially end the game with the proper amount of minutes played, so that legally, or not legally, but by regulation, it was a real game. Right. But a gentleman's agreement was we're going to keep it 1-1, and that's how it ended up, which is also a little odd. Now that that's over, right away, Bochum filed a complaint.
Yeah,
and according to my cousin, he wanted to be decided on the Grüne Tisch. Explain to Americans what a Grüne Tisch is.
Grüne Tisch. That's like a I don't know why they call it that. Yeah. Grüne Tisch means like basically behind closed doors or in the negotiation room, not on the field, but in the office.
And what they're asking for is a forfeiture from Union Berlin, which gives them a 3-0 win via default or whatever, right?
That's right. That's right.
That, which would give them 3 points, which is a crafty little move. I told you they get 3 points.
Amazing.
However, what's the update of that? Is that TBD?
They've officially filed the report, and now that's gonna take a minute. I don't know how. I mean, certainly a couple of days. They didn't decide it today, and so we'll find out.
Cut to tomorrow. You and I are the Grüne Tisch. We're the Grüne Tisch. Stefan, Bjorn, the Schnitzel Tisch, Grüne Schnitzel. What decision do we make if we are the Bundesliga administrative staff or whatever? What decision do we make, Bjorn, do you think?
I don't
actually
know.
You're not a Bochum fan. You're not a Bochum fan.
3 points, of course, for us.
In the spirit of football, what decision do we make, do you think?
Well, I don't know. What are the rules with this? I mean, it's in the spirit of the game, this is a fair result. The 1-1 is how it should have gone.
Yeah. I think it should end at a 1-1, and then Union Berlin should be punished and have to play in front of an empty stadium for a couple of games or something like that.
Oh, something like that. Yeah, maybe.
To me, that makes sense. Kind of. But that's also weird because the only advantage would be to other teams. Bochum doesn't get that advantage,
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure
Or
there's got to be a rule for this, and that's yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
or they have to replay the game, and they have to replay the whole game in front of an empty stadium again. So that
Oh, is that? Yeah, I'm not sure what the. I couldn't even find. Um. Yeah, I couldn't find any information about what there's got to be a rule about this. Like,
I don't.
if
Yeah.
this happens, this is what happens. But
It's one of those things. Is there kind of like the court of law? Is there precedence? I can't. I'm sure there's precedence somewhere. You probably have to dig deep for that, or maybe even the lower leagues to find some sort of precedence.
I guess we're gonna find out. One thing, one little thing that I didn't mention is the DFB. They said that the referee did a good job. They commended his handling of the situation, so they were
Okay.
happy. They were happy with what he did.
I thought he could have been more communicative because literally for 20 minutes, everyone's like, "What the heck?"
We didn't know. Yeah, we didn't know. Is this
And it's
over?
20 minutes.
Yeah, it was
For
a long
instance, if
time.
I'm the ref and I have to call Cone, the Cone Akella, right? I have to be like, "What's going on?" Shouldn't that conversation take 4 minutes, maybe 5?
Should be pretty quick.
Real quick, like 20 minutes. We just don't know what's going on, and he had, but maybe the ref knew and the
I
players
guess he
knew.
was
They just
talking
didn't.
to. It took 15 minutes to talk to Dreves. He was like, "Come on, man, can you play?" Dreves was like, "Nope, my head hurts. I'm
Nah,
done."
I can't even. What's your name
Like,
again? What
come
year
on.
is it? What year is
What?
it? Was it
Who are you?
2020?
What am I?
Who am I?
Hallelujah! It's like, come
Yeah.
on, man. You can
Was this
stop.
a
We're
basketball game? Did I hit some nice threes?
cameras are off. It's just you and me. Dreves is like, no, 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 no. My head is throbbing. I don't think. Yeah. Eventually, the ref was like, "All right, I guess we'll figure something else out."
But
Well, this is the most spirit the team has shown the entire season.
however, I do feel like as a referee to force a gentleman's agreement means maybe the
But do
rule
we
book is
know that that's what
incomplete.
happened? Do we know that the referee forced this upon them, or did this
Well,
get
if he didn't and they
worked out
agreed
by
upon
the
it,
players?
if he didn't and they agreed upon it without him as a referee, you got to be able to stop that, right? I mean, like they 100% manipulated the game for 5 minutes. That's against the rules. It's got to be against the rules. Since the shame of Gihon or whatever, that's got to be against the rules.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
so I'm assuming that, I mean, that I guess opens another can of worms. If I'm a referee, am I allowed to see them manipulating a game and let it go on? I imagine he's the one that they all
I
talked about
was
ahead of time.
I was also surprised by this. I thought that this wasn't cool. I was like, this can't be acceptable as a
No.
solution. I had the same response. I was like, this is not right. Like, this
Yeah,
is a
they all
farce.
talked it out and just
This
agreed
is
to manipulate the rest of the game. And
this
it's
is
like,
a farce.
right? They're like,
And
there's got to
nobody
be
likes a farce.
there's rules to this game, and especially in Germany, I imagine the rules are pretty comprehensive and complete. So I'm surprised that there was really no solution. Like there was no official solution to this, other than let's do a gentleman's agreement to manipulate the rest of this game. You know what I mean? That was a little odd to me. I figured the ref would be like, in this circumstance, this game has to be abandoned because of the, or like in this, you know what I mean? Like I'm surprised there wasn't a more readily concrete rule to solve this. So I'm very curious what happens in the decision, because even in my scenario, when Union Berlin gets punished, VfL Bochum doesn't get anything out of it. They still get their point, and they lost to. They just get a point. But like you said, this is the most team spirit they've ever shown all season. They're like, yeah, the tricksters,
Really,
we pulled it off.
I mean, it was it had it all. There was some heart, there was some cleverness, all things that really were missing. Some quality, I guess. They always have heart and some fight, but some quality. This was some foresight and some quality in terms of the decision making in the final third that was missing previously, that we saw today. By the final third, meaning the final third of the game in the final third of the stadium inside the tunnel.
Yeah, bingo. But also, like, going back to that ref thing, like, if he's telling the teams to leave the field, he needs to bring both Bochum and Union Berlin off the field right away. What happened was Bochum left the field, and everyone's talking about Bochum like doing a walkout But you're right. The referee told him to leave. He said, "Leave the field." He
Right.
told him to leave the field.
Yeah, and
So
then they
that
have
was
to.
already.
I mean,
As a ref,
and
you'd be
then
like, right, Union Berlin, you too, off the field, everybody.
well, the way the DFB put it, they said that he had to make sure everybody was safe so that then the stadium personnel could calm down the situation. I mean, it wasn't like it was one guy throwing something. It's not like people were going nuts. And so, but also the DFB said he does not have the option unless since there is no insanity, there's like the conditions are fine to play. He has to play. Like it's not like he can't
abandon the match
he
because
can't
of
abandon the
unruly
match
behavior.
if the stadium is, if everybody if it's all good to go. Now this seemed to suggest to me, and I don't think what I read didn't fully explain this, but this suggested to me that this kind of we're just going to not do anything for 5 minutes. That was the team's ideas, not the ref's idea. That the teams worked this out instead of the ref suggesting it.
Then let's do a Beispiel. Let's do a scenario. Let's say the teams want to play out the game, and it's up to the ref to make a decision. What decision should the ref make?
Well, the ref's got to play if the pitch is good to go and there's no, the stadium's
so
ready.
Bochum has to play 2 men down.
They got to play. They got to play the game. So I guess they would have to. Yeah, they would have to play with 2 men down, unless Dreves decides
miraculously recovers.
I guess this is also the question, that we'll never really know the details of. But like, who made this call? Who decided he's done? Like, was that the medical staff? Was that he himself? I mean, I guess once medical staff says he cannot continue, then obviously that's final. You don't question that. That's just how that goes. But yeah, I mean, from the team's perspective, if they had to actually play I mean, yeah, that would have been interesting too, because it's not that easy to score, even if you have a field player in goal. It's not like it's automatic, but it wasn't that much time, so it's conceivable. It's conceivable they could have survived this, but
Bochum had nothing to gain from playing the rest of that game. That situation.
No, that's true.
That would have only been Union Berlin. That would have only been Union Berlin's advantage.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so that's why it's such an interesting. We watch 1,000 games, and every now and then something like this shows up, and it's hard to figure out what should happen. There's just certain things that don't have a lot of precedence, and this old game, the old gal, can still surprise us from time to time. So I look forward to seeing what the decision is, and I'm curious what it'll be. I have 2 more quick things to talk about. Bjorn, do you have anything you want to talk about?
I have one pretty little thing.
Do it.
To talk
Maybe
about,
it's one
but you go first. Oh,
well, I like to talk about 2 players.
All right.
One is American who plays in Germany. The other is a German who plays in England. Those are 2 guys.
Gio Reyna
and
a German who plays in England.
And this player was called out by his coach in a press conference and said that he is not of the quality expected.
Yeah, I heard that. Timo. Oh, Timo. I mean, Germany fans have said this for years. It's like Ange Postecoglou is saying out loud what we've all been thinking for years.
Well, okay. So my segment's called "What's Going On with Timo?" Right? Timo was linked to the New York Red Bulls a few months ago. Look, he might still be linked to game. Maybe he's coming this offseason. I would love for Timo to come to the New York Red Bulls, by the way. But
he would crush it in MLS.
Maybe. I mean, not according to Ange Postecoglou or whatever. Like, Ange took him off at half, and they asked him, was he injured? He's like, no. He just wasn't of the quality necessary to play in this level of football or something like that. It's just like,
he didn't.
No,
he said. Well, it was funny because he said yes. They asked, "Is it a tactical decision?" And Ange said yes, because he was playing nowhere near the level he should be playing at.
Right. Him going to England is already a question mark.
Our tactics include our players playing well.
And
So,
I didn't see the game. I caught the highlights. Did you watch the game at all? This is Tottenham versus
yeah, I watched
Chelsea. No, what was this?
Tottenham
This is the Europa League. I think this is Europa League.
at Southampton. Oh no,
Oh
no, this
no,
was
that
the Europa
wasn't.
League. No, you're right. It was at oh, I don't remember. I'll look it up.
Yeah. So I caught the highlights just to be like, did he do something awful? I didn't see. He almost had a chance early in the first half, but I didn't see the full game, so I wasn't there to see the actual performance. But Timo
Oh, it was
Werner
Rangers, Glasgow.
and they tied, right? They didn't win. It was a 1-1 game,
1-1.
right? Or something. Which is
Now I've heard from friend of the pod, Keir Randall, Celtic fan, so happy yesterday. Celtic won the cup against Rangers in penalty kicks, and he beat me in the fantasy matchup. So great day for Keir. Not as good for me, but anyway. So he Ange Postecoglou used to coach Celtic, so Keir still has the inside scoop, and he told me that supposedly Ange has tried the coddling approach with Timo. Put his arm around him, and it has not worked to satisfaction. So now supposedly this is a little bit of a change in approach. He's now giving him the business.
He's lighting a fire under his butt. Timo Werner was one of Germany's up-and-coming superstars. He was really great. He went to Chelsea, and Chelsea broke him. Like it almost broke Christian Pulisic. Chelsea breaks a lot of players. Broke Mason Mount. They break players.
Well, no,
Timo Werner went back to RB Leipzig, or maybe not.
United,
maybe I'm being harsh on him. I don't really care, but like I really don't care about English players. But Timo Werner went back to RB Leipzig. He didn't really light it up in his second stint in RB Leipzig, right? He kind of sat on the bench. He lost his spot there too. And then randomly, he then made his way to Tottenham Hotspur.
And did all right actually under Ange.
At the very beginning.
He had a little bit of a revival. Yeah, he scored some goals. He got a lot of time.
Then I think he's been injured or something. He hasn't been playing much lately. And then he got on and he played the first half and was publicly scathed at the press conference. So it's just like, did something happen off?
Team was back in trouble.
With football players, you see a lot of this with Brazilians too. There is some sort of off-field life event that happens, and they're never the same after that. I wonder if Timo Werner, if something happened and he fell out of love with the game, but the contracts need to keep coming. You see the footballers sometimes. But all I know is that if he ends up at the New York Red Bulls in 2 weeks, the fall is pretty big for a guy like that. He's still.
But lucky for you, man. If you got Choupo-Moting and Timo Werner, I'm going to be worried about you.
I'll take it, dude. I hope that happens.
But I don't know. I mean, my impression of Timo was always that he wanted the striker money, but he was really a winger by disposition, and I think that's where things went awry. That he was like, got transfer fees, etc. for number 9, and he was just not. That's just not him. So I think that was my impression. He seems like a sweet guy. Like I don't think it's too bad. But I mean, we've all sort of thought for years that he wasn't quite playing up to the level that he should, and so I don't disagree. It's I mean, if he's coming, is that real? The MLS thing, I'll believe that when I see it. I don't think we're quite at that.
It was real 6 months ago, probably when they were looking at contracts. But then they got Tottenham instead. Anyway, so that's Timo. What's going on with Timo? Curious about Timo. And then I have one last thing, which is a very big part of the Schnitzel and German-American identity thing. But what's your thing?
I was just going to talk about speculations of the new NYCFC coach. But Des Buckingham got fired.
Can we do Bundesliga first? Is this Bundesliga related?
No, it's not. Let's
New York City Bundesliga story, then do the NYCFC story. All right. So I want to talk about Gio Reyna.
Yes.
Former NYCFC Academy kid, Gio Reyna.
Mm-hmm.
He is back. Maybe. Is Gio Reyna back?
He's back. He played a couple games.
He from years, not a year, from a full year being in the cold, frozen out Nottingham Forest. seemingly frozen at Borussia Dortmund. He was getting trash minutes, injured. He's healthy, and not only is he getting minutes, Nuri Sahin, who probably needs to start throwing some crap at the wall, this might be a byproduct of that, is he started Gio Reyna against Barcelona last week in a big game.
Yeah.
Gio Reyna played 70 minutes. Then at Barcelona, his review was pretty lukewarm. He didn't really affect the game super hard, but he played, and Dortmund lost 3-2 against Barcelona. Then over the weekend, Gio Reyna started again against Hoffenheim, and Gio Reyna scored the go-ahead goal for Dortmund. It was 1-0 Dortmund, goal by Gio Reyna. Hoffenheim got an equalizer by the end, and it was a disappointing 1-1 draw for them at home, I believe, right? Over the weekend.
Yeah.
However, Gio Reyna is getting full 90s all of a sudden. At least he's getting starts, right? He's getting regular starts all of a sudden, and he got a goal. The second game in. Is this the beginning of Gio Reyna just all of a sudden being a regular starter for Borussia Dortmund moving forward, at least for the next month or so?
Time will tell.
Let's hope so.
Dortmund are a weird mess right now, and so if he can emerge as a starter out of this mess, then props to him. But I mean, I don't think we're ready to. I'm not ready to say he's back. I mean, Dortmund just weird. Sahin is, I think, like you're saying, he's just throwing everything at the wall. And I don't know if this stuck. These two games didn't turn out all that well, but he got a goal. Yeah, great, good for him. He needs to play.
Could this be the beginning of Gio Reyna being the hero of Dortmund, turning their fortunes around individually? Could this be?
I mean, but this is always the thing, right? It's always like either these guys always either have to be messy or they're useless. It's like if he can get a couple games in, that'd be good. That would be good.
Lieber
You're praying to the Fußballgott?
Lieber St. Nikolaus, bitte, vor Weihnachten, mach mir einen Gefallen. Please, let Gio Reyna be the savior of Dortmund. If I have one Christmas wish. This is Stefan's Hallmark movie. This is my Hallmark moment. I'm in the mountains of the Carolinas.
Oh, I'm in tears already. Here, did you see it? Did you see this tear streaming down the cheek?
I see the real tear. And an old grizzly man who looks kind of like me, is like a mechanic, and he's got a lot of wisdom. It turns out he's Santa Claus, actually. And I ask him, can Gio Reyna save Dortmund for me? And it's like, I'll see what I can do. I'll talk to the boys upstairs. He gives me a wink. It's Ed Asner or whoever. Anyway, Christmas man, whoever you are, Campus, whoever, if you're listening to me, my Christmas wish is that Gio Reyna
this is like the
Dortmund around for the second.
This is like the joke, right? Where the
joke. There's no joke here.
Where you find a lamp in your travels, and you rub the lamp, and a genie comes out and it says, "Okay, you have a wish. You left me out. Or you have one wish." And because you are a conscientious, loving man, you say, "Okay, I wish for peace in the Middle East. Here's a map of the Middle East. I wish that you could bring peace to this region." And the genie says, "This is a too intractable situation, even for me, too big a wish. I cannot grant this. You have to ask for something else." And you say, "Okay, well then I would like Gio Reyna to be the savior of Borussia Dortmund." And then the genie says, "Can I see that map again?"
Well, I need to get my hands on a better genie, is what that means. I need to get my hands on a better genie. A guy who's got more cojones, you know what I mean? More kugel.
Okay. Remember, by the way, that French cartoon years ago that they had where a guy was in front of a firing squad and he was about to be executed, and they asked him for last wish, and he said, "I would like Timo Werner to shoot."
There you go. And it was perfectly correct, because he would have missed, baby. He would have missed over
We've got jokes today here on the Schnitzel Boys. Another thing that we were texting about, this is the little bonus item. You send me a text saying that Christoph Kramer has trouble finding a new club. He can't find a new club. He said he would play for peanuts and nobody wants him. He thought he'd have a lot of offers because he wasn't looking for a lot of money. Now, as of today, Kicker reports Bochum are open.
What did I tell you?
To the Christoph Kramer return.
What
I
did I tell you?
assumed. Well, you said Bochum turned him down, and I said I don't think he called. I don't think we were the team that he called offering to play for peanuts. I think those were probably some other teams. But apparently, on his list of possible destinations, he has arrived in the lower regions of this list. So no Christoph Kramer and VfL Bochum are talking. Also, at the annual meeting, we heard there's some money left for January, so a couple of players might come. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. So that was a little Christoph Kramer update, who I would love to see play for Bochum. But
it's a win-win. He needs a club and a player. Easy peasy.
What's peanuts to Christoph Kramer is probably the highest salary that we've ever paid to anyone.
Well, you got to spend a little to make success. But also, Christoph, it's match made in heaven. They could offer him a regular rate, and like he's not allowed to complain that no one wants him. It's like they do want him. You just have to. They want him at this price point, and if he wants to make more money, it's not available because no one's willing to offer him the kind of money he wants. So you just got to be real at some point. He's no spring chicken. Christoph Kramer's what, 35 now or whatever. He's coming along in his career.
Is he that old? That'd be.
Wasn't he like 27 at the 2014 World Cup? He wasn't young then. So he'd be
33. He's 33.
Oh, okay. He's a little younger than I realized, I guess. But still, I texted you like the fact that he couldn't find a club. It's like Bochum, a club that spends no money on players. There's no like if I'm the Bochum football director, which is apparently what he did. The minute I read the article, I'm calling like Christoph. We got it. Come here.
That's exactly what happened. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see if that will add up to anything.
All right, we have the bonus MLS minute. What do you got for me, Bjorn?
I mean, this is just a rumor. There was, we're all. I'm excited to find out who NYCFC's new coach is going to be. There was some Jim Curtin rumors. I was not a fan of that. We talked about this. The latest name to drop is Des Buckingham, who is that? Youngish coach in the CFG system. He's coached a couple CFG.
He sounds British
teams. He's English. Yeah, this is actually
and
really
the English.
What I wanna,
the English are the world's best coaches. They're in demand.
This is what I was saying on a text chat earlier today. It's like it's good that we
if you want to win, go English.
It's good that our team keeps hiring English managers since they have so much trouble finding work anywhere else. It's good,
especially in England.
It's good that especially in England. It's good that they can always count on NYCFC to hire them. Anyway, this man he spent some time in New York, checking out the facilities and
what is that?
And there was some rumor last year that he would take over for Cushing if he left, but he got another year, and he took the job at Oxford United in the lower ranges of the championship, and so he just got fired. And fans were very upset at this. They did not like this, and so there was some speculation that he wasn't actually fired. He was just leaving to come to New York. So this is the rumor. Although now the owner said no, he was actually fired because of results, but the fans are still upset. So Des Buckingham perhaps is the name, but I definitely, I am not one.
Before Oxford, he coached at Mumbai.
Yeah, there you go.
See, I got Mumbai City and Binsley. There you go.
See, there you go. These are some big. He's got a big resume. I mean, I am not one to stereotype judge as individuals, but what is it with the English? I mean, like what you're saying, it's like nobody wants the English managers except us.
Oh yeah.
So
do you though? I wouldn't want any.
I mean, I don't know why. Yeah, I mean, he seems like a young up and coming guy, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
All right, hold on. You just said young up and coming guy. Let me read his resume. He's 39, so this is relatively young. He coached for the Wellington Phoenix, for half his season in New Zealand. He coached the New Zealand U20s, the New Zealand U23s, and he coached New Zealand senior team all at the same time. New Zealand FA probably is a low budget operation, so they need one guy from also an Aussie club. And then he was the head coach of Mumbai. So his entire professional coaching experience in New Zealand, Australia, and India. And now they're like, and then I guess here in the lower leagues of England, Oxford United, a professional goalkeeper for 4 years, 2 years at Reading, he was Oxford United. And his performance at Oxford was very disappointing as he was sacked in their 18th place. The fans were upset. So this is your club, but no titles under his belt. This is your guy.
Yeah, it's not super exciting. No,
that means I'm all for it. I say sure.
Well, I guess this was led me to a larger question of like, do I have a bias against America? Like, why would I like, I wasn't excited about Jim Curtin. Would I like Jim Curtin more than this guy? I don't know.
I know I would. Of the two of them, one has won things and the other has not. Of the two of them, one has a deep understanding of this league, the other is not. And of the two of them, I mean, maybe they both do. They have experience working with younger players. Now, I know that's why he was fired and whatnot, but Philly Union, under his tutelage, brought through a lot of younger guys. You can't deny they did.
That's true.
To me, Jim Curtin is a huge no-brainer versus this obscure English.
Yeah, I guess
2 to 1-0.
I guess this made me question whether I had an anti-English and an anti-American bias at the same time, because this also was kicking around because this Pulisic documentary came out, and he talks a lot, and him and Clint Dempsey were quoted talking about how there's an American bias everywhere. Americans don't get the same respect. A lot of people just don't respect the American game.
Yeah, I
and
agree.
So I was really questioning if that applies to me too, in the way that I'm rejecting Jim Curtin. But at the same time, this English dude didn't excite me either. I don't know.
I'll tell you
we'll keep looking.
From an outsider perspective, this young English obscurio isn't exciting to anybody. He's some weird obscurio, and it just pisses me off because it's again a simple case of like an upper level like football Euro snob executives just being like, oh yeah, America's a backwater, send them anybody, and none of them have ever gone on to do anything here. 26 years of a case study. So that's A, and B, you don't like Jim Curtin because you have a real animosity towards the Philadelphia Union, and he's associated with that.
No, I mean, I think that's definitely that doesn't help his case. But I also don't like. I've never been super impressed with him as a coach.
Let's say you got linked with Graham Potter. Graham Potter, he's kind of canceled in England, which happens if you're put up to a big club and slaughtered. It happened to the last couple of English managers. And he needs to revive his career somewhere and work his way back. And NYCFC is the gig. He's going to sign for City Football Group because it's an English organization. And then he's going to let's say Graham Potter comes in. Would you be like, oh, Graham Potter, I hate that Englishman?
No, I think that would be I would be interested to see how that goes. Yeah, he was very very promising seeming in Brighton before Chelsea, and like you're saying, Chelsea will break anyone. So yeah, no, I guess there are some, but I mean, even with him, it is a big question mark. Why doesn't he have a job? Like, what is he?
Well, because it's England.
Why can't he find work?
Let's say Steve McLaren wants the job. Let's say instead of Jamaica, he went to NYCFC, former English national team manager.
Yeah, that would be just as whelming as these other people. Yeah.
Steve McLaren, the guy who coached Wolfsburg formerly, and then he coached in Holland for a bit. What about now? Let's talk about Americans. I know you're not into Bruce or Bob, but is there an American coach out there you'd be like, okay, cool, we got this guy? Greg. Let's say Greg chose NYCFC over Chicago.
I would have been all right. I would have been all right with Greg. I don't have any bones to pick. I would have accepted Greg as NYCFC coach. I respected him when he was in Columbus. So that I wouldn't have had a problem with that. It's I
That
don't
could have
know.
happened if
Well,
he just waited. If he waited a
I
couple
mean,
months, there's a good chance that could have actually happened.
Pellegrino Matarazzo, I would like to see if he
Yeah.
was interested.
But he's
Other than that,
essentially
I don't know.
German.
There's definitely a lot of American coaches that I just don't think are that good. Like like if Caleb Porter became I would be like, no.
What about Bruce?
Um,
Let's say Bruce shows up. Instead of San Jose, went to NYCFC.
That just seems impossible to.
I
I
know
mean,
it's not a match made in heaven, but just
Bruce is
pretend.
entertaining. I mean, I don't think, I think that wouldn't upset me. It just seems impossible. It's impossible. To know.
Bruce only works with local owners. No, that I understand. I'm just saying hypothetically. Let's say Bob Bradley wants to come in. Are you not into that?
I'm not a fan at all.
Let's say Michael Bradley wants to come
in. Well, that would be literally his first job ever as
a
head
he was
coach.
the assistant in Norway. It'd be his first head coaching job.
So he would be one of the 5 people with fewer qualifications than Des Buckingham.
Well, I'm just trying to suss out your English American bias.
I'm glad. Yeah, no, I'm happy to examine this further. But yeah, I think we'll find out. We'll find out more.
Well, it's in development. I, for one, would be disappointed. Like, if I'm an NYCFC fan, you got to go big. Can't go with some other young.
But what's big? What does that mean? Like people say, Gio Savarese. That's like Bruce. That's never. I don't think it would happen.
That's not a bad pick, Gio. I don't think. For me, it'd be someone who won some titles. Maybe an old vet. Maybe someone like a Dean Smith who went down to Charlotte. Get a guy like him. I know his work in Charlotte has been relatively,
yeah, he's still consequential.
But an old vet who's been around. You know me, David Moyes, man.
David Moyes will find himself a job in the Premier League. He'll probably go to, because there's 2 openings now. Southampton fired their coach finally, who he was trying so hard to get fired this entire season, and they finally did him the favor.
Who might get sacked pretty soon? Pep Guardiola.
I mean, this was the game, babe, that screwed up my fantasy result. I saw this game, by the way. It was
It
brutal.
was insane. Brutal. Turner. That last goal was really cool. Did you see the goal?
I did.
The youngster, Yamal, I believe. Wasn't it Jamal? Yamal, I think.
Ahmad, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ahmad. It was such a cool goal. That was a great goal on him. Good on him.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho,
he's on
we're at an hour and 20 minutes.
He's on Kier's fantasy team. Wonderful. Yeah, let's get out of here.
That, ladies and gentlemen, was the Bundesliga hour. Will we see us next week?
Bundesliga hour and a half.
Hour and a half. There is one more week of Bundesliga games, and they take a break too, which means we might take a break.
I'm not going to be in town. And last time you didn't like the acoustics in Vermont.
Well, I didn't. I'm not going to be in town either next Monday. So maybe let's just stay it here.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas,
Happy holidays.
Good
See you in 2025.
We're taking a little holiday hiatus. We'll see you all in 2025. Tschüss. Bis
Tschüss.
im neuen Jahr.